I am Jason. This is Historically Marked, and this is another Route 66 themed episode. I am at the old Chain of Rocks Bridge, well, close to it, but I'm in the area on Shoto Island, and I'm standing next to, or in front of, one of 14 Route 66 experience hubs built by Illinois Route 66 Scenic Byway sometime during the 2000s decade. But yes, this is the closest one to Missouri, as many people may think of it as the first or the last. First if you're approaching from Missouri, but if you're going to Missouri, it's the last. It starts all the way in Berwyn, Illinois. Like I said, there are 14 of these experience hubs, what they call them, you know, where you get like a full Route 66 experience. Hence the name experience hubs. Like there's one in Edwardsville, Carlinville, Lincoln, Illinois, Pontiac, Springfield. I hope to do future episodes on a lot of them, hopefully all of them, if I do make it that far sometime in the near future. But this one is a definite standout because it is an old classic bridge that was once part of Route 66 for 30-some years, and I'll explain more on that. I will go ahead and give you a little spotlight on the Experience Hub, so here we go. This may seem a little bit absurd or unusual, but all 14 Experience Hubs have the same front. In other words, it has the same thing, but it's still pretty useful because it provides a map, and it also has many great colorful photos of Illinois Route 66 landmarks like the Ariston Cafe, Williamsville, Illinois, and of course that classic Route 66 historic route. And you can also listen to Bobby Troop's version of Route 66, or I'm sorry, get your kicks on Route 66. See if this one works. And it does. Nice.
If you ever plan to go west, travel my way, take
Just think, this Experience Hub has sat out here for about 15 years, I should say, maybe less than that, and it's withstood many weather conditions, including snow, ice, and rain, and yet it still works. How great is this? On the rear side of these Experience Hubs, these have two different panels. Actually, all 14 Experience Hubs in Illinois have different ones as opposed to the front side. This one focuses on all the bridges that once carried Route 66, and of course that went over the Mississippi River. And now here's the one, McKinley Bridge, where we were just at, well, the previous episode. Then you have the MacArthur Bridge, which currently is not open to traffic. It's all railroads, as it says. Old Chain of Rocks Bridge is the one where we're about to go on from 1936 to 1955. That was the bypass one, by the way. Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Bridge, that's the business 66. And then there's the Poplar Street Bridge, where the last Route 66 was last seen when it was converted to all interstates. And as I said in the previous video, it all gets confusing because there are many different alignment sections of Route 66. But as I said, from 1936 to 1965, this was once the main thing that brought Route 66 travelers from Illinois to Missouri. And we're about to go on there, but before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get on the second panel here. Here is a look at what the Route 66 bridge looked like back in the day, 1929 as a matter of fact. That was the year that it was open, and it was a toll bridge. People actually had to pay to get on this bridge. And it has that interesting 22-degree bend, which we will go on. And all my life I was kind of wondering, well, what's the whole purpose behind the name Chain of Rocks? Well, the answer is here. A treacherous stretch of rapids here is formed by underwater rock ledges described as a chain of rocks. Because there's Chain of Rocks Road, and at one time there was Chain of Rocks Fun Park, which I will get into as well. And most, if not all, if you have a piece of paper or if you have like a Route 66 travelogue, you can, you know, do like a rubbing thing, if you know what I mean. This is perfect. So definitely bring your passport or whatever it is that you keep track on your Route 66 road trips next time you're here. In addition to walking on this bridge, there are also some nature trails here on Shoto Island, like the one next to me to my left. I'll go ahead and show you. And there is a map to it, as well as a trailhead. But if you do go out to these nature trails, I highly recommend wearing boots, especially when the grounds are wet and during wet weather. Also, watch out for critters like snakes and bugs and who knows what. And now we are going to start our trip across the 1 mile long bridge. So from here on back, it's going to be actually a 2 mile journey, but either way, it's going to be cool. And there's the welcome sign. And as a side note, it is part of Great Rivers Greenway, which is a network of bike trails and all that from Missouri. Now we'll be reaching the Mississippi River shortly, but to my left and right are the murky waters and the woods, the forest where all the nature trails are. In fact, I can see them from underneath the bridge. Here, I'll show you. Now you can't really see the trails, but to my right is a lake. Not really big, but hey, if people want to go fishing, I guess that's where they want to go, right? And you can see parts of 270 where the new Chain of Rocks Bridge is. And the bridge still looks to be in decent shape, even though it's obviously rusted and it's got some graffiti and scrapings here and there. But it's definitely great enough to, you know, carry bicyclists and joggers and walkers like me and explorers. We are now at the point where the Mississippi River is now below the bridge. I'll show you that. And to my right is Interstate 270, which is where the new Chain of Rocks Bridge is. And if you look closely, it looks like the westbound is at a standstill, as there is some traffic. I guess it's rush hour. Well, it is 5:30, so eastbound traffic seems to be moving pretty smoothly. I will continue to go up towards the middle of the bridge. Follow me. And now I am towards the middle in my journey across the old Chain of Rocks Bridge. That is east west. And I can see the St. Louis skyline, well, parts of it, and parts of North St. Louis and North St. Louis County. These two are not historical markers, but I'll show you them anyway. These are nature markers. Basically what you can find in the Mississippi River. I don't know about raccoons. And here we get a nice view of two old Chain of Rocks Bridge intake towers. These are both Gothically designed. Nobody can really go in them. I don't even know if government only has access to it or not. I'm sure there are videos online where they do offer rare indoor glimpses of what's inside them, so that's definitely all take a look at on the side, if you know what I mean. I still can't believe people actually drove on this. Up ahead, we are approaching the 22-degree bend. So as we get closer, and now we're almost there. We're almost at the bend, which is perhaps the most unique thing about this bridge, besides the fact that it is old and a Route 66 traveler's dream to walk on. So I'm gonna go ahead and take you on a little journey. So follow me. I've actually heard stories about people who actually drove on this bridge in the 1960s. People actually thought they were going to fall into the Mississippi River. And if I were driving a little skinny car in a cruiser, I probably would be having the same feeling too. While I'm technically in Missouri at the moment, as the state line is literally in the middle of the river, wherever that may be. But we are approaching the Missouri side, so definitely it's going to be a pretty much the same experience, not really much different. To my left here is a plaque which talks about the victims. I'll get more into that. And as we head into the Missouri side, I just want to show you something. I don't really know exactly where this was, but at the top of the hill, I guess where the tree, somewhere in the tree area, forest area, Chain of Rocks Fun Fair Park was a popular Route 66 amusement park. It has a long, great history. It was long gone by the time I was born. It closed in 1977, but that was where a lot of people who grew up in the 1940s to the 1960s, where they had their school picnics and they had a lot of great rides like the Mad Mouse, and pretty much Six Flags Great America was built in 1971, and people preferred Six Flags because, well, I don't even want to get into the whole controversy, but that pretty much was the death knell for Chain of Rocks Fun Fair Park. And one of the cool things about approaching the Missouri side to the bridge is looking at some of this memorabilia. It's also kind of sad, and I'll explain that. Actually, I probably don't even need to explain because you can see it. The graffiti, yes. And not many people remember this, but there was actually a model car that was once right here, you know, in this area. I don't know when it was removed, but I'm pretty sure it had to be taken away because of vandals and people that don't appreciate history. That's about the best thing I can say. It's really cool to see these historic signs. I'm glad nobody has really done very much to them besides scrape and write their couple's names on them. Here's a classic gas station relic here. Now, I know at one point in time there was a historical marker right here. I don't know what happened to it. I don't even remember what it said. But if anybody does have any old pictures of it, I would gladly appreciate you sending it to me, because I do not have any pictures of it, and I would love to know what it said. And this is the Marston viewing area. As it said, it was donated in September 2001. A great view of the river as well as the Missouri side. And again, you can see the St. Louis skyline. And you can only see one of the intake towers. You can also see the low part of the Choteau Island where a lot of people fish. Here's just a little pan shot of it. I don't even know if people actually sit on this, but definitely it's a great photo opportunity. And while I'm on the topic of graffiti, somebody did spray paint Keishi, as in the radio station, but I'm glad people have cleaned it up. And I don't know what it is, but I think it's really cool in a nature-like sense that I get to see a shot of the Missouri River touching base with the shores of the state of Missouri. Really cool. No beach, just, you know, dirt, mud, and grassy wetlands. Another thing of significance is the date, 1935-1965. And of course, somebody had a graffiti on that. But still, I think a sign randomly right there is really cool. And now we are going on to Missouri land. Here we go. Right now, my heart is beating fast because I am definitely intrigued by this marker. I'll tell you a little backstory about why. Well, there was once a historical marker erected by the Great Rivers Greenway people back in, I think, late 2000s and I believe it was subject to vandalism and it had to be taken down, but it was replaced recently by this one. So I don't even know if it had the same text on it, but I am definitely thrilled to show you this because this is my first time seeing this as well. This is a timeline, and please feel free to hit pause whenever you feel the need to. And this is just a little history about the Mississippi River. Here we are now at the Missouri side, and this is kind of a little park. It's got picnic benches, it's got a bike rack, and it's got a parking lot. The old Chain of Rocks Bridge does connect to the Riverfront Trail, which takes you all the way to downtown St. Louis. It's about 11 or 11.5 miles long. I forget exactly how long. It does literally parallel the river. It takes you through the industrial part of St. Louis, the northern part that is, and as well as the Mary Meacham Freedom Crossing, which I do hope to do a video on sometime in the near future because there's a marker there. So yes, if you are a biking enthusiast, you should definitely check out this, because whether you do it for exploring purposes or recreational, if you can handle riding a 22-mile north round trip, I would do it. Especially if I were in shape, that is. This here is a rest area for bikers. It's got a cool painted mural on it. I'm glad it's held up in good shape, no vandalism, unless it's been recently redone for all I know. This, of course, is a trailhead. And this has wonderful pictures, postcard-like pictures of Route 66, like the Corral Court Motel, and the McKinley Bridge, and the Eads Bridge. A lot of cool stuff, and this is where the rest area is. Well, bathroom, Johnny toilet there. Here's a little view of underneath the bridge in the wildlife section. As you can see, there's a lot of graffiti, and I'm not even sure what that is. That looks like an old Johnny toilet down there that's been destroyed, and workers probably didn't know what to do with it, so they threw it underneath the bridge. Nice. Other than that, this is really cool. A very historic part of the area. And again, this was once a busy traffic intersection as motorists were going into Missouri from Route 66. I'm going to take a step down here. So before I head back to the Illinois side, I just want to point a few things about Route 66. There was once a toll booth somewhere in this area. I want to say it was right there where I'm pointing. I don't know that for sure. If I had an old picture with me, I probably would not even be able to verify that. I mean, maybe I'll ask my dad or my mom. But yes, this was once Route 66, and what it did was it took you throughout North St. Louis County. Pretty much it hung a right, and I know you can't see it, but 270 is right there. That is Riverview Drive. And yes, Route 66, a spur of it did go through Riverview Drive. Well, I'm about to head back to Illinois. It's going to be a great scenic mile-long journey back on foot, but it'll definitely be well worth it because, as I've shown you throughout the video, there are great cool parts about this historic old Chain of Rocks bridge. So yes, definitely if you're in town, check it out. But be aware of your surroundings and use your common sense. Thank you for tuning in to this special Route 66 themed episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, signing off.